Hello everyone. This lecture is part of a preview to my Microsoft Excel course on Udemy. The course is called Practical Microsoft Excel Masterclass. If you like this lecture, do check out the full course on Udemy. The link has been provided in the description below. Also provided in the description below is a coupon code. The first few students who use the coupon code can access the course for free. If you decide to take the course, I request you to please leave behind a review. Before we begin this lecture, I would like to first point out that for today's lecture, we need to have the developer tab available. In case you are not able to see the developer tab in the ribbon, you will have to make it visible first. You can do that by going to File, Options, and then click on Customize the ribbon. In the main tabs, you can check the developer tab and click OK. Once you do this, the developer tab will be visible in your ribbon. With that said, let's start with today's lecture. In this lecture, we are going to look at how to create interactive charts. Interactive charts are something that the user who is using the Excel workbook can interact with. He can provide his own inputs, modify how the chart looks, and so on. For this lecture, the specific problem that we are going to be solving is this. Given the sales volumes for the different salespeople and product categories, build a chart that depicts the sales of each individual with an option to select the salesperson to be depicted. Here is what I mean by that problem statement. On the left hand side, we have the actual data, which is made up of the product category, the salesperson, and the sales volume corresponding to that salesperson for a particular product category. On the right hand side, we have a chart which depicts the sales made by Andy for each of the product categories, that is printers, paper, and stationery. On the right hand top corner, you will see that there is a drop down menu. And this is where the interactive part of the chart comes in. For example, if I select a different salesperson, let's say Jim, you will see that the chart changes to sales volumes for Jim, and the sales volumes for Jim for printers, paper, and stationery are displayed on the chart. Similarly, I can view the sales for any salesperson. So essentially, I as the end user have the flexibility to interact with this chart and tell the chart which salesperson's data I would like to see. Of course, as you can imagine, such interactive charts can lead to extremely interesting dashboards, and such charts are very important when one is creating dashboards and other reports. Now let's see how one can go ahead and build such a chart. As the problem suggests, the very first component that is required here is a way for the user to interact with the chart. And that, as you just saw in the demonstration, was a drop-down list. So we will first go ahead and create such a drop-down list. The drop-down list can be found in the Developer tab. Under Developer tab, you can select something called a combo box. If you are using Excel in Windows, you might have two options for combo boxes. One is called the form control and the other one is called the ActiveX control. You can select the one from the form control. We don't need ActiveX control here because ActiveX control provides higher level of flexibility, but at the same time is associated with macros. So we can use a simple form control combo box. So here is my combo box. As you can see right now, the combo box is empty. So the first thing that we need to do is to populate this combo box with some values. Let's see how we can do that. If I right click the combo box and select format control, I can see two items need to be input here. The first one is the input range and the second one is the cell link. So the input range is the list of items that will be displayed to the user as options to be selected. In this case, the input range will be the list of names of the salespeople. The cell link is the cell where the combo box will write the output once the user has selected something. We can use this output to further modify our chart and data. This is where the interactive part comes in. So let's go ahead and define these two values. For the input range, first of all, I will have to create a list of salesperson names. I can do that by copying the column with the salespeople names and then doing a remove duplicate from the data tab. I will remove the title of salesperson, and now we have a list of salespeople names. Now let's go ahead and define the inputs to this combo box. Format control. The input range will be J2 to J6. Cell link will be, let's say, I1. Now I click on OK. Let's see what has happened with the combo box now. As you can see, the combo box is populated with the list of items, that is in this case the names of the salespeople. Let me select something. For example, let me select Stanley. Cell I1 was what we had selected for the cell link. As you can see, as I select Stanley, you get a number 3 which gets populated in I1. If I select Jim, the number changes to 1. If I select Dwight, for example, the number changes to 5. What this number indicates is basically the position of the selected item in the list. Now to convert this number into the actual name in a cell, I can use the index function. Let me enter that in the cell H1. So index array in this case is the list, and the position or the row number is the cell I1, because that is where the output of the combo box appears. So now we have a way of directly interacting with the combo box. So if I select Jim in the combo box, H1, cell H1 changes to Jim. If I change it to Stanley, cell H1 changes to Stanley. We can use this value in the cell H1 to create our chart. The next step is to create the data corresponding to the chart. In this case, for the particular salesperson that has been selected, we would like to create the data which tells me how much of each product category has the particular salesperson sold. So for that, first of all, I need a list of product categories, which I can get by copying the column of product categories into a different location, and then once again doing a remove duplicate. Let me name this product categories. And the volume of sales. Now we would like to get the volume of sales using formulae rather than copying the values from here, because we want the formula and the value to change as we select the different values of the combo box. So for that, I will use the sumIfs function. Sum range in this case is column D. Criteria range in this case is column product category, which is column B. Criteria is in this case printers G7. Criteria range 2 is the salesperson, in this case column C. And criteria 2 is the name of the salesperson, which I will point to cell H2. And since I plan on dragging this formula down to get the value for paper and stationery, I will provide an absolute reference for the row number of the criteria 2. Let me take the format and drag the formula down to get the values for paper and stationery. Now, as you can see, if I change from Stanley to Jim, I will get the sales volumes for Jim. Jim has sold printers worth $9,249, as you can see here. Paper worth $10,996, as you can see here. And stationery worth $11,002, again, as you can see here. One final improvement that I would like to also do here is to change the name of the volume of sales series with a formula to also be able to update it dynamically. What I mean by that is, I'm going to say here equal to volume of sales for, and concatenate that with the cell H1. So as I change the input, you can see the title of the series also changes. This will be very helpful for creating a meaningful title for the chart. The final step here is to create the chart itself. So we will be selecting the data, go to the Insert tab, and in this case I'm going to create a simple bar graph. Move things around a little bit, format everything so it looks good. You could even hide the data behind the chart like this. And we have our interactive chart ready. As I change the input, that is the salesperson name, you can see the chart changes accordingly. If I change it to Dwight, for example, volume of sales for Dwight, sales for Dwight for printers, sales for Dwight for paper and for stationery. These interactive charts can be extremely useful in creating very meaningful and interactive dashboards and reports. Now here is a summary of the steps that we followed. The very first step that we took was to create a way for the user to select the salesperson. We did that by using the combo box from the developer tab. Then we created a link between the user selection and an output cell on Excel. We did that by using the index function. Third, we created dynamic data that changes interactively as the user selects a salesperson name. We did this by using the SUMIFS function in this case. And finally, we plotted the chart by using the charts from the Insert tab.